Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Showdown. This time we are heading into National Dex Anything Goes. Uh, this time we're running a hyper offense team uh, with Zacian-Crowned, Ash Greninja, Arceus, Calyrex-Shadow, Galarian Darmanitan, and Mega Mewtwo-Y. So first up, Zacian. Here we have Behemoth Blade, Play Rough, Sacred Sword, and Sword Stance. So with this, for the most part, it's just general attacks that Zacian would normally use. Behemoth Blade for Dynamax Pokemon that are going to be super common. Play Rough for dragons and just general stab move. And Sacred Sword for Pokemon that are buffing incessantly with their defense. Something like Aggron, Iron Defense Mega Aggron, that we can easily just puncture straight through, as well as being super effective in the process. So, for our effort values here, we have max attack, max speed with a Jolly Nature. Don't really need the boost in attack, but if you really want to take the boost, so we can outspeed some other targets, such as max speed Arceus or something, or Mewtwo, you can. But this is what I went with, mostly just so the fact that we can outspeed as much as we can while also having a super high attack, which we have max attack and the rest in HP. Next up, we have Ash Greninja Battle Bond with Focus Sash, Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, Water Shuriken, and Scald. Water Shuriken gets buffed, I think it's to 25 base power when it's Ash Greninja, as well as getting priority. Scald, just so we can try to hit some burns. Dark Pulse and Ice Beam. Dark Pulse, just a good stab move. And Ice Beam for flying types, dragons, stuff like that. Max speed, max special attack with the Timid Nature, just so we can try to outspeed a lot as we possibly can. Plus, we're not gonna be faster than stuff like Zacian in that, but we don't really need to. Especially once we get to Ash Greninja. Next up, we have Extreme Killer Arceus, Extreme Speed, Sword Stance, Earthquake, and Shadow Force. What was Sword Stance and so Arceus? If you guys aren't too in tune with how Arceus is played, there are many different sets, and one of them for normal is Extreme Speed with Sword Stance boosts. Extreme Speed already has 80 base power, really good for a priority move, especially since it has, I think, +3 priority. So the only things that'll outspeed it is stuff like, uh, first off, Extreme Speed from a faster Pokemon, as well as Fake Out, and I think that's actually it. Then we also have Earthquake, just so we can try to take out stuff like Darmanitan, as well as other ice types and electric types. Regieleki is definitely one that I could think of that we would need to take out. That may not go down to an extreme speed. We are running especially bulky, since we don't really need the speed, since we're mostly just going to be using extreme speed anyway. So we went with special defense just so we could try to take a little bit of extra damage. And then max attack with an Adamant Nature, just kind of so we can get as much damage as possible, since we don't really need the speed to begin with. Next up, we have Calyrex-Shadow with Ghostium Z, Astral Barrage, Dark Pulse, Energy Ball, Will-O-Wisp. Since we don't have a Mega, since in National Dex Anything Goes, you can actually use a Z move and a Mega. I wanted to make sure that we can get a Mega and a Z Crystal. And I went with our highest attacker, or like our strongest attacker, that being Calyrex-Shadow, with Ghostium Z Astral Barrage. So Astral Barrage will be 180 base power. 180 base power with Stab, and then Ghostium Z is gonna boost it up a ton, so it'll one-shot pretty much everything in the game outside of normal types. So Arceus, Mega Kangaskhan, and I don't really know any other normal types that would be played here. You know, I don't really see any in Ubers. Maybe Blissey. If I hardly doubt Blissey will be used personally myself. I haven't seen any in my experience with the team. So for the most part, it'll hit everything and probably KO whatever it hits. Max speed, max attack, with a boost and with the Timid Nature. So our goal with this would be to uh, be faster, or at least as fast as a normal Calyrex-Shadow. Uh, that may not be using the like a Timid Nature, maybe using something like Modest. Oh yeah, but moves. Will-O-Wisp. I want to use Will-O-Wisp just so we can get some burns off since Calyrex doesn't have a very high physical physical defense. Energy Ball for Groudon and Kyogre. You probably could switch this out with Gracium Z so you can actually take those two out better, like more easily. Because I don't think either of these are one shot, but I feel like a Gracium Z Bloom Doom would KO. Dark Pulse, so we could take out Calyrex Shadow, but again, like also Astral Barrage will do the same. Dark Pulse though probably could be switched out, which I think I might actually do with there really isn't much, so I feel like really it would be perfectly fine if you just used that. You could use Expanding Force in case of Tapu Lele being in. Or you could use Psychic or Psycho Cut, a Psycho Shot, a Psyshock, which I am going to switch it out for, just so we can try to hit something physically with Calyrex-Shadow. And Astral Barrage is just generally a phenomenal move. Galarian Darmanitan doing Double Band. I like to call it Double Band Tan, just because it's a really stupid name. You could switch out with Choice Scarf since really Guerrilla Tactics is already Choice Band. But with the Choice Band, it becomes a 3 times boost to attack. So this gets boosted up almost to, I think, over 1,000, if I'm not mistaken, or right around 1,000. But we're running Earthquake, Icicle Crash, U-Turn, Flare Blitz. You could switch out Flare Blitz if you don't want to take the recoil damage with Fire Punch, or like Iron Head. Power Up Punch, not too useful, but could potentially do some damage. Superpower, Stone Edge, Zen Headbutt. There's a lot of potential with this slot here, but the Flare Blitz, Icicle Crash, having an ice and a fire move together is to me really useful compared to having like ice and psychic. Since we already have a lot of psychic moves, we already have uh, steel moves, we already have a lot to combo with, but fire is like the only type that we don't have anything of. So having at least a fighter move is really useful. We're running a Jolly Nature, max speed, max attack, just so we could try to stay as fast as possible. We will be outsped by a lot of offensive threats. Everything on this team will outspeed Darmanitan by a lot. Even like regular Greninja, if we look at regular Greninja, base 122, still does a lot, and I just really messed that up. So I guess while I finish that, but with Darmanitan, there's a lot of issue with it since it is really, really frail. But it should be perfectly fine in the long run because of the fact that it's such a dominant threat with a double band. But again, you could run Choice Scarf if you really want to, just so you can make sure you can outspeed everything and hit it really strong, really hard as well. But with the Choice Band, really most of its threats outside of these Pokemon that I have on my team, you outspeed. Lastly, we have Mega Mewtwo-Y, the hardest one for me to come up with, really. Because I was looking for a Mega that was really fast and was a special attacker, which kind of just left me with Alakazam and Mega Mewtwo-Y. Because none of the special attacking Megas that are really slow, if they're good, except for Mega Mewtwo-Y and Alakazam. And Mega Alakazam would be good, but everything that Mega Mewtwo-Y has is better than Alakazam, including moves. So like for Alakazam, we'd be running almost the same moves, but replacing Psystrike with Psychic, or a Sphere with Shadow Ball probably, and Thunderbolt. I think Alakazam actually learns, but I could be wrong. It'll probably just be replaced with something like Energy Ball. But with that, we have 192 in speed with the Timid Nature. I went with this because of the fact that for things like Ash Greninja, that was actually the entire reason why I went with max with 192. You could go a little higher, like you could switch this out, but you actually no, I'm actually you'll never be able to outspeed Calyrex unless it's not max speed. So like 399, if it's not max speed Calyrex, you'll outspeed. If not, you're kind of screwed. But that was my aim, to kind of be able to outspeed those two. Outspeed a lot of other Pokemon. Max speed Arceus. I don't think you outspeed Darmanitan Scarfed. You also don't outspeed Zacian, unless, again, it is not max speed. If it isn't running Jolly. But with that, we also have max special attack, just to, again, get as much damage as possible. There's a really real reason not to do that. And that does it for the team building section. And now we get to go into our very first game. So this is something common here, a lot of just meme teams. Probably Mega Ampharos. But really, I don't know, this is what I like about National Text Editing. A lot of people just kind of meme in here, like really weird sets, I guess. Facing off against like an assist team. It was like really weird. It was Spinda, Delcatty, and Big Team. But with this, we could probably just run. Yeah, probably run Darmanitan. It's Gliscor. Might use. And he's gonna use Protect. Sorry, I'm just gonna Dynamax here. He's trying to get the Black Sludge. Okay, so we did disconnect. So I guess take a minute here to kind of assess this. Black Sludge, I don't really get why. I think maybe he was, because Gliscor can't. I don't think Gliscor can learn Trick or Switch Root. Was he gonna be pulling it at me? Oh, you know what? He didn't. He doesn't know the difference between Black Sludge and Toxic Orb, because he was trying to get the poison heal. It's unfortunate, but we're actually gonna add a game because I don't think he's coming back. Yeah, we're in a game. So Illusion Zoroark, G-Max Lapras right off the bat there. Probably, yeah, the game ended right. Yep, here we are, we won. So, probably ending with, we probably have a Galvantula. We don't have any multi-hit moves that are one-shot, or don't, so we are gonna be slowed down the entire game. I'm actually gonna max off back KO so we can get negative Greninja. Not what's it? Oh, I'm blanking. Ash Greninja. So what's a Zoroark? I guess he got me there. Has a hit 2 max resonance. We need a knockout, which is really unfortunate. He's not switching to no range on him. Oh, he's not gonna switch it. He's not gonna do that. Oh, he's using Curse. Here comes the Dynamax. Oh yeah, we're truly scarred. I forgot that we're scarred. Oh, that sucks. Even if we got Ash Greninja, we kinda get some. Lapras should not do that. So far, he gets extreme speed. Probably gonna like play, right? Like play, he's probably gonna protect. Or he's gonna Sword Dance himself. I'll let him bulk up once more. Oh, never mind, the Freak Break almost takes out. Hopefully if Shrink Speed does the job here. If not, we might have just lost. Okay. So we're knocking out from Sash. Maybe he can play in case he brings out Carnivore instead. Probably just be even play one shot. Oh, not that one shot. Yeah, there you go. But now Sticky Web. Got some spooky. I think they were paralyzed. Oh, these are never do that. Here's the Gardevoir. I should have realized that it was a Gardevoir was not it was not Gardevoir because it was damaged. Gardevoir, whatever, we won pretty easily. Had a bit of an issue there with the with that Zoroark though. thinking Calyrex. Or Mewtwo, maybe. So, Astral Barrage almost takes it out. Storm misses. They'll probably switch it on, you know, and take the special attack. Yep, there's a special attack boost. So, we should one shot. Yeah, and he also moves. Scarlet. He has to switch. This is not gonna knock us out. It was also, oh my god. Yeah, no, that's game. This is gonna be game. He's not scarred. Then how did he outspeed? Oh yeah, it's speed tie. We can't extreme speed needed because it's ghost type. He doesn't have anything for Zacian. Except for Will-O-Wisp. Oh, he's gonna just try to attack us and yeah, no, that's good. Thanks. He one-shots everything. Unless Mega... Yeah, no, it doesn't. Wait, hold on. How is he faster then? I'm really confused. So, Calyrex is... yeah, it's because my... Oh, yeah. He made the mistake. He made a mistake. Close combat. Alright, well, that was an embarrassing loss. That's what I hate about Ditto. It literally locks you into not attacking anything. Especially if you're using something like Zacian or Calyrex, because the second that you switch in, your opponent's going to switch in their at the Ditto and just take your set. Sweet. So, he's probably got SP on a case of rocks. Oh yeah, it's Mega Abs. Or Mega Kingdom, actually. Should deal with Switch, so we will be getting Ash range. Here we are. Need 3. Let's go. Water Shuriken is going to end it. Oh, the flinch. Oh my god, that actually is clutch. Are we gonna win this without losing? Dynamax though. Doesn't do a lot, unfortunately. We're gonna Toxic us. We're gonna just Hailstorm just so we can try to get some shit damage on it. We'll also take another special defense drop. He's gonna protect. So he's trying to Toxic. It's a Toxic stall day for him. So, but we are gonna take it up pretty easily. Once we're done with losing Greninja. Calyrex-Shadow. Gonna outspeed and be able to probably one-shot it since it's got big special defense now. Yeah, we're in a nightmare. And that just came. Probably shouldn't have even lost one Pokemon, but what can you do? But that is going to be all for this episode. I'm gonna be honest, I actually really enjoy playing Anything Goes National Dex. It's just a lot of fun because you get a lot of really unique sets in that. There's a lot of just hyper offense. I would say stall is not fun to face or see. But it's just a lot more enjoyable than like standard modes and that. But that is all for this one. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.